Hi everyone, I'm Steve, back here with Dr. Nario of Biointegrative Health Center in Reno, Nevada. Welcome, Doctor.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me again. Always a pleasure.
Okay, so we've done a couple interviews on cholesterol, dangers of cholesterol, and we kind of got called out on not being quite specific enough on one of these, and this gentleman was correct. So I want to just kind of get a little more into depth and just do two or three follow-up questions on the cholesterol, just so that we can kind of be clear. So just because someone's overall cholesterol is too high, or in medical terms, it's high, does that mean that someone's in cardiovascular danger or risk? Does that mean that they need to immediately go on some type of statin or cholesterol medicine just because their general reading in cholesterol is high?
So that's a good question, Steve. I get a lot of patients who asks me that the same situation that they're in, but that is definitely old practice. When you talk about managing cholesterol, just using total cholesterol in your lab tests, that is definitely not telling you the whole picture. The thing here is you would always hear, I mean, I did that mistake before, that I would give a statin because I saw total cholesterol being high, but that is not true anymore. You have to remember, cholesterol is very important for the reason that it is the source of why we make hormones, especially for men, testosterone, thyroid hormones, even adrenal hormones. For females, their sex hormones are dependent on that as well. That's why what you're seeing there is not a reflection of cardiovascular health alone. You're seeing also other systems that are reflecting through the total cholesterol panel. And again, that is not a good indication of why somebody should be getting a statin. There are other specific ways that we can do that.
Okay, and are all LDLs bad? Or do we need some? Are they all bad?
So that is another one that I get a lot of, Steve. Again, LDL, I mean, we have this old belief that when we see LDL, it's bad cholesterol, it's going to give me a heart attack and stroke. Not anymore. In the newer standards of cardiovascular care, there are newer tests that are out there that can actually define if you have a large particle LDL, or a medium size, or even a larger size particle size of LDL. When I say this, this test is called an NMR lipid profile. So now you should probably ask your doctors to request for that rather than requesting for that usual cholesterol panel. So in short, for everybody to understand this better, your small cholesterols, they're not all bad. The only ones that are bad are the smaller types of bad cholesterol. The bigger ones are just swimming around, floating around, and still being used by your body for hormones, for protection of the cells. But the smaller ones are the ones that can really go inside your blood vessel to dig in, to actually create inflammation, to actually promote and call the other bad LDLs to join him, to make a clot, to form a blockage or an obstruction, thus increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. So that's why not all the LDL is bad. That's why you need to tell your doctor, hey, there are newer tests out there before you get me on that statin.
Okay, so now what if somebody comes in and their cholesterol is really low? They might be really happy about it. Now, does that mean just because their cholesterol is really low that that's a good thing? Does that mean that they're really healthy just because their cholesterol is low? And now, okay, my cholesterol is really, really low. I'm at no risk for heart disease. Is that true?
Steve, that is a good point you brought up, because I just had recently seen a patient who said that his cardiologist gave him a pat in the back because definitely their total cholesterol is low from the statins that they've been taking. The bad thing about that is you are lowering your risks for cardiac events and even strokes. But you have to remember, as I mentioned a while ago, cholesterol is being used by other systems as well. Now you're going to be in trouble with your hormones. Where are you going to be getting the production of your testosterone if you're a male? And what about, yeah, estrogen and progesterone if you're a female? What about the cells that has a layer, a wall that needs cholesterol as well? Now you're going to have all of these cells dysfunctional because of dysfunctional walls. And that's why I always tell patients, the target here is not to lower cholesterol, or total cholesterol. The target here is to lower the small and the bad LDLs that we have and increase the sizes of our good HDL, make them fatter, make them bigger, so that they can function to neutralize bad cholesterol all around. But again, definitely not good. You're not in a healthy state when you're not in the standard number for cholesterol. We always want to be in the middle, not to be on the extreme of highs and not to be in the extreme of lows.
Okay, that's really good. I think this is really clarifying it for some of our audience. So last question to clarify this. Can you give us an idea of what tests should be done, and what can some of our listeners ask their doctor about certain tests that are really going to be accurate to tell us if they're at risk of heart disease? What are those tests? I know there's a number of new tests that are out just in recent years. So just real quick, explain to us what those tests are and what we should really be getting tested to really know our condition.
Right. So yeah, so everybody watching in TV land or in video land, tell your doctor that they need to request the newer tests now. The standard lipid panel is not as a standard anymore, because now you can request for the what we call the lipoprotein fractionation test for lipid panel, meaning it's going to break down the sizes of your bad cholesterol, how big your good cholesterols are, and what are the precursors, are they being made for triglycerides. That will be an easier management for us, your doctors, and really see if it is justified to give you statins or not. Another one would be the apolipoprotein tests, A1B. That's another reflection of HDL and LDL. And another good one would be TMAO. TMAO is actually, I don't want to pronounce it, it's a very long name, but it's an enzyme being created by your gut. When you eat meat or any animal-based product, that animal-based product will interact with the bad bacteria in your gut to create this specific enzyme, which is inflammatory in nature, thus promoting cardiovascular problems. And another one is also HSCRP, high sensitivity CRP. That's also another basic one to assess the inflammation of your blood vessels. And if those numbers are high, definitely cardiovascular management are needed in your case. Those are just a few that I do in my practice. But there's so many things like hemoglobin A1C, insulin levels that are adjunct or add-ons to a healthier cardiovascular system. But those are basic ones that I would suggest for everybody to bring up to their GPs.
Okay, and you know, I think another good video on this would be all kinds. There's natural supplements that you can take that are powerful. It'll
Right.
really drop your blood pressure and really, you know, improve your cholesterol. Just natural supplements that are really, really powerful. So that's kind of a tease. Maybe in one of our next interviews, we can talk about, because I'm not the doctor, but I can name 6 or 7 of them that'll really change your cholesterol, your blood pressure, everything. So anyway, maybe we can talk about that next time. So Dr. Nario, thank you very much for clearing that up for us. That's Dr. Nario, Biointegrative Health Center in Reno, Nevada. Check him out online. Thanks, Doctor.
Thanks, Steve, for having me. Always a pleasure.